My name is Johnny Marietti, and I'm originally from San Diego, California, and I was born there and raised there until I was about 10 years old. And then I moved to Chicago, Illinois, and I think this has shaped my life to where it is now because I was able to really adapt, and I think I'm really strong with adaptation and trying new things. Being forced to move completely out of what I was used to and what I was comfortable with really forced me to be uncomfortable, and I feel like I adapted very well to that, and it's a skill that I now have today because of it. I'd say most of my most impactful learning moments have come from playing lacrosse. I played lacrosse all 4 years of high school, and the things that I've learned from it are beyond just the lacrosse field. For example, I've learned a lot about discipline and how sometimes when you don't want to do things, you still have to get them done in order to succeed. And I've also learned a lot of leadership skills, which I use today. I was one of the captains on the lacrosse team, and this really helped with my leadership skills on the field, but also off the field. So like I mentioned before, moving from my hometown, California, to Chicago, it was, a really different change for me, and I had to adapt. And I'm hoping to carry that trait of learning how to adapt quickly and moving on. I'm hoping to carry that through my undergraduate studies and further, whether it's, having to move somewhere for a new job or having to take on a role as something in the job. I think I can do really well with adapting that quickly. So one of the biggest learning experiences that I've had at U of A is from joining a fraternity. What I learned from it is that in order to succeed, you're gonna have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and you're gonna have to do things that you don't necessarily want to do in order to succeed. And it's really changed the way that I look at the world and all, because I now realize that if you really want something, you can get it. It's just working hard for it, and like I said, dealing with uncomfortable situations that you don't want to do, and moving on from them. So my intended major is business. I've always been interested in business, and more specifically accounting. In high school, I took an accounting class, and I was very interested in it. And so business is something that I've always wanted to do. I've always been really fascinated by it, and that's my intent right now. The way that my history guided my academic pursuit is by seeing how my parents have done, and growing up at a nice house in a nice town. It really motivated me to want to be like that and strive further than that as well. And my brother is also a graduate of college, and he is an accountant now at a big bank, and that really motivated me to want to do accounting and business. So one of the biggest strengths that I've learned so far at U of A is time management. So in the beginning of the school year, I was rushing for my fraternity as well as playing lacrosse on the team here, as well as school. So I really had no free time, and that's when I really learned how to manage my time properly and figure out a schedule and everything that I need to get done. So that's definitely one of my biggest strengths that I've gained so far. And for a weakness or an area that I need to improve on, I'd say is just my organization is probably the biggest one. Just knowing when to be and where, and finding certain assignments and all that. So yeah. I think the economic and business perspective really shapes how I think, and is one of the biggest ones for me. And I think this also because I've always had a side of business in me ever since I was younger. I started a shoe company where I would buy shoes online for retail price and then sell them for more because supply and demand. So I always had that business side of me, and a perspective that I could use the most development in, I'd say, is psychological perspective, I say this because sometimes I will, get a little demotivated or a little bit overwhelmed, especially with lacrosse going on and other things. So I think that is one area that I can improve on, and a gen ed for that. For example, yoga. Yoga really helps with your mind and just kind of easing off a bit, and yeah. So one thing that can enhance my major is in my fraternity, I'm planning on running for a treasurer position. So basically I'll be dealing with all the money, accounting, and like I said before, accounting is what I want to do. So I think if I run for treasurer and be our house treasurer, that will really give me some good experience for the work world. In 5 years, I would like to see myself working for a big bank firm, wherever in the world, doesn't matter to me. But I would really want to do some accounting for a big bank or start off small with a little business, and eventually, hopefully, own my own business one day. So one of my goals is to get into a club called Wall Street Scholars here at U of A. Basically, it's other people that are interested in business, accounting, finance, and it's a club that meets, and they will basically help you get internships, and we'll do mock interviews, and they'll teach you a lot about that workforce. So that's definitely one of my big goals. So like I said, one of my goals for a job and a career is being an accountant for a big bank firm. So the future might look like me working, in an office somewhere, hopefully on Wall Street. But wherever it is, I'm excited. And like I said, accounting, it really excites me. And I think I'm really good at it from the class that I did take in high school. So it's definitely something I want to pursue. And yeah, something that I think I would want to learn for fun is how to sail. Growing up in San Diego by the water, I'd always see people out there sailing, and it's been something that I've always wanted to learn how to do. So that's definitely one of my biggest little fun things that I would like to do. So something from my Wonderosity journal that I'd like to pursue is just making more connections with people. So far in my fraternity, I've made many, many connections, not only with kids my age, but with older seniors too, that I plan on having lifelong relationships with them. And these connections will benefit me because, one of them could offer me a job somewhere or offer me help for something. So that's definitely one of the things that I'd like to pursue.